What is going on, Agent for Call Center? En el podcast de hoy vamos a hablar sobre las llamadas que se pueden transferir con un paso y las llamadas que se pueden transferir con 2 pasos. Si quieres saber de qué estoy hablando, tienes que quedarte al final de todo este podcast porque te traigo vocabulario para call center. Estoy muy alegre, estoy muy emocionado de enseñarte todo este vocabulario y espero que tú también estés aprendiendo algo nuevo en cada una de estas lecciones de vocabulario para call center. Recuerda de que si quieres apoyarlo puedes hacer de muchas maneras. Número 1, puedes hacerlo enviándonos tu super thanks para poder disfrutar de un delicioso café mientras grabamos el podcast. Y la otra forma que creo yo que le puedes sacar más provecho es de que puedes adquirir nuestro The Roleplay Practice Book para que de esta forma te vayas preparando y vayas estudiando cómo prepararte para ese roleplay en la entrevista final de los call centers. En este Roleplay Practice Book vas a encontrar diferentes tipos de escenarios. Vas a encontrar escenarios para Customer Service, Technical Support, Sales, Retention, you name it. Lo bueno es de que puedes ir a tu propio ritmo y tienes situaciones para diferentes tipos de cuentas. Por ejemplo, cuando un cliente quiere enviar dinero, cuando un cliente se le perdió su tarjeta de crédito, cuando un cliente quiere comprar un seguro, cuando un cliente quiere comprar o rentar una casa, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Si quieres adquirir The Roleplay Practice Book, link en la descripción. Así que comencemos con el podcast número 4. 2 tipos de llamadas, una de ellas one step call y la otra two step call. So, comencemos. What is going on, agents for call centers? What is going on, agents for call center? I'm super happy and excited to be again here with you in another episode, in another podcast. I'm very happy, guys, because guess what? I am going to be sharing with you call center vocabulary, and I hope that everybody is excited as much as I am today. Alrighty, so in today's episode number 4 of today's podcast, we are going to talk about cold and warm transfer. That's right. In a couple of minutes, you are going to understand when to use one, when to use the other, transferring call. That's what we're going to be talking today. And we're starting, everybody, right now. As you may know, you are going to listen to today's podcast at normal speed, my speed, obviously, right? And after that, you are going to listen to today's podcast at a lower speed. Let's start then with today's podcast. Transferring call. Customers need to reach specific departments to resolve their issues. That's why representatives often have to transfer calls. There are 2 types of call transfers, warm and cold. In a call transfer the call directly, place the customer on hold, and enter the correct extension. This is appropriate if your main duty is directing calls. In a warm transfer, place the customer on hold first, then contact the next representative and introduce the call. After that, bring the customer into a conference call, stay on the line until the other representative takes over. When a customer is on hold, check in every 30 to 45 seconds. Be sure to set a reasonable expectation of wait time. What do you think about that, future agents for call centers? That is our normal speed. Now, we were talking about the 2 different type of transfer calls, right? There are 2 type of transfer call, and I'm going to talk about what's the difference between each of them. But now, I am going to read it again, but this time you are going to listen to today's episode at slower speed. Let's do it. Transferring calls. Customers need to reach specific departments to resolve their issues. That's why representatives often have to transfer
calls. There are two types of call transfers, warm and cold. In a call transfer the call directly, place the customer on hold, and enter the correct extension. This is appropriate if your main duty is directing calls. In a warm transfer, place the customer on hold first, then contact the next representative and introduce the call. After that, bring the customer into a conference call. Stay on the line until the other representative takes over. When a customer is on hold, check in every 30 to 45 seconds. Be sure to set a reasonable expectation of wait time. What about now, future agents for call centers? Was that much better? All right, so we are going to start with today's vocabulary, right? And I am going to go with the first line. Take a look at this. Transferring calls. Transferring. The meaning of transferring, but first let me spell it. T-R-A-N-S-F-E-R-R-I-N-G. Transferring call. The meaning of transferring is when a customer wants to get in contact with a certain person. The customer wants to get in contact with a department, for example. Imagine the following. Imagine that you work at Concentrix and you work at the customer service representative position, but the customer does not want to talk to a customer service representative. He wants to make a purchase. That's why sometimes you are gonna get this type of calls when you need to transfer. You need to send the call you are receiving to another department. In this beautiful example that I'm giving you today, that is the sales department. So what you need to do is to send the call you are receiving to the next department, the sales department. All right, that is our first word, transferring calls. Now, next line. Customers need to reach specific departments to resolve their issues. I want you to pay attention to the following word, I-S-S-U-E-S. Issues. Issues means problems. Issues means concerns. Issues mean situations. Sometimes customers, they are facing different type of issues. They are facing different type of problems. They have different type of situations. And you, as a customer service representative, and you as a sales representative, or you as a retention agent, what you need to do is to help the customer to resolve their issues, to resolve their problems. That's why it's super important that you develop this type of skills, communication skills, when talking to customers. All right, that was issues. Now, let's continue. That's why representatives often have to transfer calls. There are two types of call transfers, warm and cold. Now, warm, W-A-R-M, and cold, C-O-L-D. Warm and cold transfer. What is the difference? Take a look at this. Warm is when you transfer the call at a comfort state. It's when you keep it cool with the customer. It's when you keep it friendly with the customer. It's when you are trying to make someone feel comfortable and relaxed. That is warm. And warm transfer is when precisely you receive a call, but the customer needs to get in contact with another department. So what you need to do in a warm transfer is to dial, is to connect the customer to the other department. But you need to tell the customer to wait for you on the line while you are looking for another representative, while you are looking for another person who can assist further the customer, who can continue assisting the customer. In a warm call, most likely it's going to be something like this. Thank you very much for calling Nesting ACC. My name is Nestor. How can I help you? And the customer will say something like, I have a question. Is this the sales department? And because you don't work in the sales department, you will go and say something like, Mr. Customer, this is not the sales department. This is the customer service representative department. However, I can put you through. I can connect you. I can send this call. I can get in contact with someone from the sales department who can further assist you. And the customer says something like, okay, not a problem. And what you need to do in a warm transfer is to tell the customer the following. All right, Mr. Customer, so let me please put you on hold briefly while I get in contact with the other department. I will make sure that someone, a representative from the other department, picks up the phone, and then I will connect the call through. So you place the customer on hold, and then you dial the next department, which in this case, in this example, is the sales department. So when you are with the sales representative, you tell the sales representative, okay, I have a customer on the line and he's requesting to talk to someone from the sales department. I'm wondering if you can help me out with this call. And the sales representative will say something like, sure, no problem, put me through. Then you connect the call with the customer that is on hold. Mr. Customer, I have already found a representative from the sales department that is going to help you out. And the customer will say something like, oh, thank you very much. And then you hang up because the sales department representative will continue talking to the customer. So you don't need to be there any longer. You need to continue answering others' phone calls. That is a warm transfer. Now, when we're talking about a call transfer, right? It says the following. Pay attention to this. In a call transfer, transfer the call directly. Place the customer on hold and enter the correct extension. Extension EXTENSION. Extension. And what is the extension? Extension, we're talking about a number. When you work as a customer service representative, you are given a phone number. And most likely your phone number has some extension numbers. And the extension number is the one that will allow you to make the calls. That's why it's super important sometimes when you receive a call from a customer, they know your extension number in the end. Why? Because if that customer needs in the future get in contact with you, they don't need to wait on the line. They just need to dial the toll-free number. They just need to dial the company's number, and later they are going to be asked. They need to enter the extension number so they can communicate directly with you. So in a call transfer, definitely you need to place the customer on hold, but in a call transfer, you don't need to call the customer service representative from the other department. You just dial, you just enter the correct extension number. Next line. This is appropriate if your main duty is directing calls. When you work as a virtual assistant, you might have this type of jobs where you are like the person who manage the different type of calls. Sometimes there are gonna be calls where you just need to transfer them in a call transfer. You don't need to dial another department so the other department can answer you and you introduce the call. You just need to send the call to the right queue. You just need to send the call to the right department. So that is the call transfer. In other words, one more time, warm transfer is when you receive a call from a customer and you need to get in contact with another department, but before you just need to get in contact with that department first. And after that, you will need to put the customer through. But in a call transfer, you don't have to do that. You just need to put the customer on hold and send the call to the right extension number. That's the difference. All right, now let's continue. When a customer is on hold, check in every 30 to 45 seconds. Be sure to set a reasonable expectation of wait time. We have a beautiful phrasal verb here, and the phrasal verb is check in. When a customer is on hold, check in every 30 to 45 seconds. Check in, CHECK space in. And what does it mean? It means to verify. It means that every single time you told the customer to wait on the line, every 30, every 45 seconds, every 60 seconds, you need to get back, G-E-T, back, B-A-C-K, with the customer. Check in. And you need to tell the customer, all right, Mr. Customer, I'm still here on the line. And I just want you to know that I'm just getting in contact with the department you asked me to get in contact with. Please remain on the line for another 30 to 45 seconds. I will get back to you. And that's the job that you need to do when we're talking about a warm transfer. Next line. Be sure to set a reasonable expectation of wait time. Take a look at this. Customer, they don't like waiting on the line. That's why you need to set up expectations. Set up expectations. You need to tell the truth to the customer. Mr. Customer, at this moment, we are receiving a lot of calls, and that's why I need you to wait on the line for about 1 to 2 minutes. You are setting up expectations. Most likely in a call center, you will set up expectation with the customer. There are some campaigns where you need to tell the customers upfront, UP space front, F-R-O-N-T, upfront. You need to tell the customer beforehand. You need to tell the customer before that it's going to take some times for you to reach another person, another representative, another advocate, another customer service representative or sales representative from the other department for about 5 minutes. For example, I remember when I was working for one of these big companies, there were some moments where I needed to tell customers to wait on the line for about 10 minutes. I know it's a long time of waiting. It's a long time wasting on the line. But in the meantime, you need to set up expectations with the customer of the wait time. It's not always when you are going to tell the customer you need to wait, Mr. Customer, for 10 more minutes. No, sometimes that happens where the call center receives a high volume of calls. And that's why sometimes when you receive a high volumes of calls, you need to do one-step transfer, or in other words, the call transfer. And if you don't have too much calls in the queue, then you need to do the two-step call. In other words, the warm transfer. Now, let me know in the comments, what are the 2 types of call transfer that you learned today? And make sentences with the new vocabulary. I'm going to be checking your answers in the comments, and I hope you learned something new in our today's podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you next time. And before you leave, something else that I want you to know, it's that you can still buy our roleplay practice book, where you can learn more about how to handle calls in the call center industry. In our roleplay practice book, you are going to have different type of call center scenarios: customer service, sales, retentions, technical support, and so on. If you need more information about how to buy the book, how to purchase the book, how to acquire the book, link in the description. Thank you very much for watching Future Edges for Call Center. God bless you all, and I see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.
How may I help you?
Yeah, I bought a product from you guys and it's broken, but it's still under warranty.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for a moment.